So as Chuck Schumer was speaking on the Senate floor, the president's motorcade arrived on Capitol Hill. As you know, he's meeting with Senate GOP leadership today to push for tax reform. But what you just heard from Chuck Schumer there was first a response as to why he and Nancy Pelosi pulled out of a previously scheduled meeting with the president that was supposed to be happening today. Chuck Schumer is saying that the president's already made up his mind about no deal with Democrats on funding the government. Schumer is saying that Trump wants the government shut down. He's not interested in working across the aisle. And of course, they're pulling out of that meeting after the president, try to follow all this, tweeted this morning that he doesn't see a deal happening with Democrats. He said he accused Democrats of being weak on crime and that they want to substantially raise taxes rather than lower them. There's so much happening here. Josh Holmes is sitting on the couch right now. And by the way, Paul Ryan and Mitch McConnell issuing a statement during all of that. I'll get to that. But would you first please react with what you just heard there? And as we have a live shot on Capitol Hill, the president, again, has just arrived.
Yeah, well, I passed out for a couple of minutes during that, so I apologize. But
during Chuck Schumer, not me, right, Josh?
Yeah, it was really just a scintillating performance once again by Chuck Schumer on the Senate floor. Look, he wants to throw a wrench into everything here. He wants to make sure the Republicans don't get to the finish line on taxes. He knows that the president is up here trying to rally the Republican conference to get it done, and he wants to distract everybody from the story of the day, which is progress on a tax bill.
So here's what the GOP leadership, Mitch McConnell, Paul Ryan, are saying, reacting to the Democrats ditching that White House meeting, Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi. We have important work to do, and Democratic leaders have continually found new excuses not to meet with the administration to discuss these issues. They write, Democrats are putting government operations, particularly resources for our men and women, on the battlefield at great risk by pulling these antics. There is a meeting at the White House this afternoon, and if Democrats want to reach an agreement, they will be there.
Ooh,
that's
throw
a
down
challenge.
The gauntlet.
Yeah.
You know, it's interesting because we were all anticipating that the president was going to come. Everybody knew he's going to be there. Chuck Schumer starts speaking at a time when you can pretty much guess, based on the fact that you can see the motorcade leaving on some closed circuit somewhere, that the president is leaving. And then just as those members, some of whom are in the chamber, I would imagine, right? Their senators are supposed to be meeting with the president. I mean, how does that politically work? That's nasty stuff.
You know, Chuck Schumer talks about being frustrated that Republicans don't want bipartisanship and that they're going to push this through reconciliation and you only need 50 votes. Well, guess what? They learned that from Harry Reid, who set it up. Chuck Schumer is taking a line out of the Harry Reid playbook and trying to obstruct every single thing that they're doing. He said two separate things. He said first, he admitted that the tax code was complicated. Exactly. That's why Republicans are trying to reform it. And he also said that anyone who votes for it is going to regret it. I don't think that's true. I think Republicans are going to enjoy a political win if they can get this through going into an election year. And they're going to praise, their constituents are going to praise them for giving people a tax cut. The middle class, which Democrats claim to be standing up for.
Well, I like the high road that you took on that. When he said regret it, I thought, will there be some sort of in-chamber political retribution?
I don't know. I just watched Chuck Schumer stand up there and talk about how, as he refuses to cooperate, he's talking about Republicans who refuse to cooperate. And as they dance around who's not meeting with whom, all I can think to myself is there isn't one working American out there who cares about whose fault it is that they're not meeting. They're just thinking, I am at work today, while you clowns are standing up there talking about why you're not going to work together, why you're not going to meet with each other. I don't have time for this nonsense. I have to pay my mortgage and feed my family and figure out how I'm going to send my kids to school. You guys are a bunch of idiots, and I can't take it anymore.
The White House is officially weighing in via a statement through Sarah Sanders, the White House press secretary. She says, quote, it's disappointing that Senator Schumer and Leader Pelosi are refusing to come to the table and discuss urgent issues. The president's invitation to the Democrat leader still stands, and he encourages them to put aside their pettiness. Stop the political grandstanding, show up, and get to work. These issues are too important.
Get to work. Get to work. There's not a single American out there who gives a flying Trump why they're not in there working together.
And the meeting will continue, she says. The meeting will proceed as scheduled with Speaker Ryan, Leader McConnell, and administration officials who are committed to getting things done. If the Democrats believe the American people deserve action on these critical year-end issues, as we do, they should attend.
When Chuck Schumer, when he stands up there and accuses Republicans of regretting a decision to vote for something like that, that only lights the fire under Republicans like Ron Johnson, who's on the fence about what's in the bill, to make sure he gets to the end, because Chuck Chuck Schumer is the one who is insulting him as a result of the bill.
You also would think that Republicans who have to come up with a way to deal with Ron Johnson on the points that he's looking at. Look, I don't think they're going to come up with that $300 billion number you were talking about, but who knows? Did I add on to it?
No, that was, I mean,
okay.
look, it's all over the place. But I think, I mean, to this point, to Melissa's point, too often we trivialize what's happening here. I mean, this is really the people's business. There are troops in the field right now that need funding. That's not an option. That's not a fun game to play. It's not who's up, who's down. I mean, this is real stuff. And the juvenile activity of just simply not showing up for a meeting.
Or talking over the entrance of the president.
I mean, it's just,
maybe you can convince me he didn't know. I didn't hear any convincing happening on the couch. But he certainly knew the timing of it, Chuck Schumer. He knew the timing of the president meeting with Republicans on the Hill and coming again to talk tax reform for the second time in as many weeks.
The idea that Chuck Schumer felt like he had to make a Senate floor speech in response to a canceled meeting says it all.
Right, exactly.
And it wasn't even about the meeting. It was for him to stand up, to attack the Republicans, to lay out what he says.
At a time when the president was waiting to meet with some
Exactly.
of them.
Absolutely.
Right.